Well, hello, Jillian.
What is all of that?
Well, you tell me. I get a note from Jillian, dress up in sparkles. So
Well,
this is me sparkling.
The tiara
Look at my
is
shoes.
it's the tiara that does it for me.
Well, hello. And the earrings, of course.
Didn't know that I needed that.
So if you're listening and you're not watching, just check out our YouTube video just to see us in sparkle. Because come on. How often does that happen?
You don't want to miss
Well,
that.
that probably happens more often than you realize. In my private life, I like to sparkle, okay? This is my exercise outfit.
Can you imagine showing up and working out? Like, wow.
I know.
There would be TikTok videos of you all over the world.
Maybe there's a thing. I need to start an exercise
You want to be an influencer? Be a sparkly exerciser.
Okay.
Okay.
So you tell us what's going on.
I will tell you
I'm
because...
dressed. She just told me to show up this way, and here I am. So here we go.
So, I love... Well, it's Sparkle Friday. That's what it is. That's what we're doing. This is called Sparkle Friday.
Okay.
We are lighting up Friday with sparkles.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
And we're going to, just show up on Fridays all sparkly wherever we go.
Okay, you're on.
We'll turn heads. We'll create a little chatter. People will wonder about us. We will be snowflakes influencing other snowflakes.
To wear sparkles.
To wear sparkles and strike up conversations.
You know what this reminds me of?
No.
Do you remember a number of years ago, we went to this event and there was this elderly lady.
Yes.
She's got to be in her 80s.
Yes.
And she was dressed all in purple, but sparkly purple. She had a boa, she had a hair thing.
And she had the red hat.
No, she was purple.
Okay.
Yeah, she's forgetting. Anyway, so she was all dressed up this way and she was like strutting her stuff like, I am so cool and hot. You don't even know. And she was in her 80s, which on the one hand, I admired her. But on the other hand, I have to say, it's making me feel like we're seniors.
Okay. You know what? You get to a certain age where you don't give
care.
a rip
about
what other people think.
That's right.
And that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure my tiara stays on straight while we're doing this whole thing.
So I follow a few wonderful Instagrams by women that I just love. Because not all of my Instagrams are dog Instagrams. Most of them are.
Yes, they are. You forward a lot of those to me.
There's a few women that I actually follow.
Yeah.
So one woman, her Instagram name is called A Woman Named George. Wait. Woman called George. Yeah. I apologize. A woman called George. And I love her. She is real. I think she should be part of us.
Okay.
We should invite her over from England.
I think we should.
To be part of this.
We should go to England and visit her.
That's what we'll do.
Okay.
So this is a woman who is real. She talks about her sobriety journey. She talks about her burnout. She talks about her divorce. She talks about the stuff that she's going through in life. And she's not always up. You know what I mean? Like she's actually talking about the real stuff of life.
Yeah.
And she happens to have the most gorgeous dog, by the way. However,
That's
I digress.
probably what got you started on
I digress.
Yeah.
She's still a lawyer, but she was a very high-powered lawyer in an English law firm. And she struggled with burnout. And so what happened was during this time of burnout, she sort of went part-time.
Okay.
So gave up her title,
sense.
her position, her recognition, her status, went part-time, 21 hours a week. And at the same time she was doing that, she started to let her hair go naturally gray. Why fight it? And what she noticed was this change in her life being kind of downgraded. She felt that people were just not treating her the same.
Wow, isn't that interesting?
She says not only were they not treating her the same, they just weren't treating her at all.
They weren't even noticing her.
It was almost as if she had become invisible.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Can I resonate with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she decided, first of all, she started to feel a little bit like less than.
Yeah.
And started to get all those feelings of like, do I matter? Am I still important?
Yeah.
And the thing that was going on was nothing about her had changed. But her status, her pay grade, the way people viewed her had changed.
And it was based on external things, which
Yes.
is her job title.
That's right.
Responsibility, and the fact that she let herself look her age as opposed to coloring her hair.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you told me this kind of feeds into what happened in the Barbie movie.
Yes. Well, that really, when you shared about the Instagram account and what happened to her, it just like hit me between the solar plexus, because I hate that this feeling of feeling less than. Like, it's such a constant for so many people.
Yes.
And I know that I don't know if everybody has watched Barbie. But I know a lot of women who watched it really resonated with it. I had thought I was going because I did play with Barbies growing up, so I thought it'd be a nostalgic movie.
Yes. Yeah.
But I actually ended up finding myself crying. There's this one scene, if you haven't seen Barbie, I don't want to give it all away, but most people probably have seen it at this point, where there is a woman, America Ferrara is the name of the actress, and she plays Gloria. And she's the only sort of real woman, or the main real woman in the movie. And she says this: "It is literally impossible to be a woman." And she's talking to Barbie. "You are so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like, we always have to be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin, because you have to say that you want to be healthy, but you also have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about all your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but are always looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much, or that you threaten other women, because you're supposed to be part of the sisterhood. But always stand out, always be grateful, and never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out that, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And if all of this is true, also true for a doll just representing women, then I don't even know.
I know. I don't even know either.
Yeah, like that hit me, that speech that she did.
Yeah.
And maybe not all of it was totally true for me or for every woman, or even for people who are not female who have ever felt less than.
Yes.
There are those aspects of the same thing where you have to be more of this, less of that, do this, do that, just to get people to like you.
Yeah.
And you still end up feeling like you're not enough.
That's right. And I mean, from this a woman named a woman called George, she seemingly had it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And of course, leading to burnout, and then making changes, and then realizing that the all was fleeting.
Yeah. And what was the cost to her to have it all?
Yeah, exactly. Burnout.
She was pushing herself to go, to try, to impress, to do all these things.
That's
and
right.
then as a result, she burnt out. And then once she stopped performing, stopped being at that level, all of a sudden she became invisible.
And it's such a poignant movie, because I went into Barbie not even really, I sort of had heard about some of the themes, but not really expecting it to really get me. And it certainly did. And the fact that Greta Gerwig wasn't even nominated for an Oscar for it kind of proves the movie's point.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
So that kind of stirred me up with anger. So here's this woman, George, and she actually, when she started to feel this way and started to slip into this, who am I? Who am I without? She started to get really angry. And she thought, well, I could do something about this anger.
Yes.
So she started to experiment a little bit. So she started to, on Fridays when she wasn't in court, wearing sparkly things, big earrings, flashy tops, dressing with accessories and dressing with a little pizzazz that then caused people to kind of do a double take. Oh, those are kind of funky earrings, you know? Or, wow, you're all sparkly today.
Yes.
And she said, all of a sudden, when she showed up for herself, people started noticing. And then that led to conversations. And then, of course, inevitably, she didn't feel as invisible. And then she started to sort of Instagram post about this Sparkle Friday. And what happened was she started to get all these messages from across the world. Oh, I love this idea. And there was one teacher that wrote to her and said, you know what? I'm going to try this with the kids in my class every Friday as a mindset exercise.
I love that.
And when it all started to change for her, she realized she touched a nerve.
Yeah.
That her journey with this was touching a nerve in other people that went, oh, who am I without the status, the paycheck, the recognition, the team, people's approval.
Yep.
And, you know, she stresses it's not about the top or the accessories. It is about having a sparkle mindset.
I think
where
that's
you
so
say,
true. Yes,
I am going to show up for myself. I am going to show up in this world. I'm going to take my place in this world, and I'm going to sparkle.
I love that. And this isn't just for people who are of the more extroverted type of personalities.
No.
It's a reminder in our, episode we talked about being snowflakes, that everybody has brilliance in them. Everyone has beauty in them.
Yeah.
And it's dressing up. I don't want to have attention just because I look like this with my, honestly, tiara, which was funny. But if people are looking at me because I'm wearing a tiara every day, that's not the attention that I'm looking for. But for me, putting this on is a reminder that I do have sparkle, that I am sparkly within myself. And I think that's the whole exercise. Like you said, it's a sparkle mindset.
Yeah.
So maybe this should be called, instead of Sparkle Friday, we should call this episode Sparkle Mindset.
I think that could happen.
Okay, because people might be listening to this on a Monday.
So I think what I love about listening to other women and listening to their journeys and listening to their struggles and the things that they're walking through. And I mean, this goes back to a couple of episodes again, where we talked about how the kind of the things that we're going through and the hope that we have, we're in the waiting period. And what she did was, it didn't change her status. It didn't change her pay grade. It didn't change any of the things that she was walking through from a personal standpoint.
Right.
But it did provide a little bit of lightness in her world.
Right.
And for others too. And I think that's part of the journey, is being able to go, it's not going to change all this, but I can do this for myself.
And what was interesting too, like we talked about the last episode with the snowflake, is that her little action that she did for herself changed her mindset, but then it went global.
Yeah.
And it actually influenced many other people to have that same sparkle mindset.
And you know what I did?
What did you do?
I reached out to her the other day. I sent her a little DM.
Yeah.
And I said, just want to let you know, the Fully Lived Life is doing a feature on this particular post because it resonated so deeply with both of us that we're going to do a little podcast episode on it. And I'm going to send her the podcast episode when it's up.
Okay, excellent.
So that she can know it's reaching other people here too.
Well, we are here to influence our little realm.
Our little realm.
To help everyone have that sense of sparkle within them. And maybe that's the to-go. Maybe the takeaway is that you go and dress up in some sparkle and have some fun with some friends over that. Have a gathering. Everyone dresses up in sparkles, even you guys.
Yes.
I would like to see some of the men in sparkle.
I do
think
too.
Really, really funny and fun. And all joking aside and all fun aside, it's that reminder that we all have sparkle in us.
Yeah.
And then maybe as we're dressed up in sparkle, we can spend time sharing with each other what we see each other sparkles in.
Yeah. I would ask you to think about this. When you start to talk about Sparkle Friday or Sparkle Monday or whatever it might be, Sparkle Mindset, you ask yourself the questions that she was asking herself. How do I dumb myself down when other people don't see me? How do I dial myself back when the things that were important to others, like status, recognition, all that, are being kind of stripped away? How do I play out the narrative of less than?
How do I reinforce that in my life? Yes.
So I want to tell you a funny little story.
Okay.
This is it tags along with this. So the other weekend we had Hudson. My daughter was away for the weekend and we had Hudson for the full weekend. Oh, it's exhausting. But I had all these things lined up. And one of the things was I was taking him to our local thrift shop and we were going to pick out a few little things. Well, he found a Batman figurine on the shelf. But I looked at it and it was like $20. I'm like, ah. And then he spied this full Batman mask. Like just the black.
I want that.
So it was $2. I'm like, oh, that is worth $2. So I bought him a little mask. We Lysoled it all up, cleaned it all up. And then we went to Sobeys shopping for groceries.
Yes.
Little cart. There's little Hudson walking around the store with his Batman mask. Do you know how many men stopped to talk to him? Hey, Batman. And he'd be like, he'd lift the mask and he says, it's not Batman. It's just me, Hudson. You don't need to be scared.
What a cutie.
But I just watched. It took us, we were in for 3 items.
Yes.
It took us about an hour to get around Sobeys.
Right.
Because people responded to him.
Right.
And paid attention to him because of this little mask. And it elicited all these lovely conversations. And that is kind of the essence of Sparkle Friday.
It sure is. I mean, it made Hudson feel special because he's like, you know, super powered Batman.
Yeah.
And he gets to dress up. But then it also allowed him with his nature, because he is such a social kid.
Yes.
To encourage other people and to have conversations with other people. And I'm sure people left that store with a smile on their face and their spirits lifted just by having encountered little Batman.
Yeah.
And so think about, like, again, the impact that something as simple as that can have. I love that. That's a really great story. It's so funny.
And, you know,
I saw the pictures. He was adorable.
And kids do this naturally. And then we get to a place where we get
Shut down.
self-conscious about it. And we stop wanting to draw attention to ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
And so you just got to lose some of that sometimes.
Right. So the thing about wearing sparkles, especially for those of you who maybe don't like attention, or you're used to being in the background, or this is just like the weirdest thing for you to think about, maybe it doesn't have to be sparkle. It's just something that reminds you of how special you are. But do it like as with others to witness it. If I can say that, people you trust.
Yeah.
And you can have a few laughs together, but it is the experience of being able to acknowledge the sparkle in each other. And like I said, I would really appreciate it if you actually went around the circle of your group of friends and kind of acknowledged to each other, you know how I see you sparkle? I see you sparkle in this way. And just be able to encourage each other. And then if you're really, really going to be brave, is be able to say for yourself, well, I think I sparkle in this way. Wow.
Yeah. So a little fun story about our friend Wendy.
Oh, okay, yes.
She doesn't believe she has this walk.
Oh.
We call it the Vavoom walk. And she just has this, like, all of a sudden, she's got a strut about her.
Well, because she's dressed up.
And we call her out, but sometimes it's not even she's dressed up. She's just like, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And we call her on it. She doesn't, she goes, no, I don't. We're like, oh, yes, you do. But it's the inner feeling that she has that's coming out.
Yes.
That's making the vavoom.
Yeah, I think so. So we all need to vavoom some more. I think that's key. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. A little bit silliness, but also some seriousness behind it. Us wanting to give a shout out to our listeners and our viewers about discovering the sparkle within yourself. And if you happen to be brave enough to do the sparkle, like,
send us pictures.
Go all out and please send us some pictures or videos. We'd love to see it. We'd love to cheer you on. Send us pictures of you having your sparkle party. That would be so awesome.
Oh, and wouldn't this woman on the other side of the world in England love it?
She would love it too.
We'd love it.
We'll send it to her maybe. Maybe we'll invite her to our sparkle party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Fully Lived Life podcast. We hope you found it encouraging and helpful. Be sure to follow or subscribe so that you never miss a new episode. And if you enjoyed our show, please help spread the word by sharing with your friends and family and posting on your social media. Thanks for listening, and tune in to our next episode.